Hello everyone. So today we'll delve into more details in the S3 service. We'll see various um, options that we can configure, and to edit various options we'll see what and all we could do in S3 service. So we'll go to S3. This is a continuation to previous video. So in that I might have said about S3, and I would have also said that we'll see the options in the next video. So we'll go ahead and create a bucket. I'm going to give my name of the bucket as my AWS bucket and my name, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and create a bucket. Right, so the bucket is created. So I'll go into the bucket and I'll upload some files and we'll explore. I have some files. Let me upload that all, except this seems a bit large. Okay, so yeah, I'll upload these files. Just uploading it in a random thing you can also do. Okay, so these are the files that we have. So we'll explain each and every option over here in objects section. So let me go ahead and select this. So each object in a S3 bucket has an URI, uniform resource identifier. So if I copy this, it is something like this: S3 : / my AWS bucket name, and then the object name. So this is a unique identifier for that object within the bucket. So if you run this, nothing will execute, even though it's a HTML. Okay, it's not HTML. My object is HTML. So this is just a unique identifier within AWS. So we need not worry much about that. And next we have is URL. So URL, what is it? It will give us a HTTP protocol. As you can see, HTTPS, it would give us something like a web page, but if you go ahead and try to open it, we see an error showing access denied. So we need to configure some more things. We need to configure before if we want to avoid this error. So that's the URL, and you can also download. You can download the file to our local computer. Go ahead and delete it because I already have. And also you could open the file. So this is my HTML page. Okay, so you can open the file too. That's the open option, or you could delete. So for example, let's say I delete this JPEG file. So yeah, I delete it permanently. Delete. I delete this file. So you can see that it got deleted. You see it got deleted, but I'll explain how to recover that file, and so okay, so we'll see that in a moment. So next we see is the actions. So you could this is the same as download. So download as, or you could share it as a pre-signed URL. So what is that? This URL will work for specific amount of time. You can specify it. So let's say I want to this URL to work only for 5 minutes. So it gave me my URL, copy to my clipboard, and you see the website will be accessible, but only for 5 minutes. That's what I give. So this will be assigned only for 5 minutes. So hopefully if we can, at the end of the video we'll see if we can access or not, provided 5 minutes pass. Okay, so you could calculate the total size, we could add all the size, you see. So yeah, so it gave my total size. So yeah, that's just seeing it. And now copy. What is copy? So for example, it's just like interacting with the file explorer UI. So let me create another bucket. I'll say why my AWS bucket Raeed 1. Since it's global namespace, I need to give it a different name. So yeah, now this bucket is empty, and in this bucket I have my stuff. So what I can do is that I could take this index.html, I could copy it to a bucket, to another bucket. I could copy it. So if I see what buckets do I have over here, I have 2 buckets. So I'll copy to this Raeed 1 bucket. So I'll select that bucket versioning, we'll talk about it in a moment. And these settings are there, copy source settings, don't specify settings, we could see that. So this will copy this, and so it, we didn't move it, we'll see the move option too, we didn't move it. So we see in our bucket we have the file, right? We have the file. So yeah, now we'll explore the move option. Move options means it's like cut paste. Okay, this is like copy paste. Copy is like copy paste, move is like cut paste. So if I want to like this error.mp3, if I like move, where I'm moving to the same bucket Raeed 1, if I move here, and yeah, so you see in this bucket it's gone, and in this bucket Raeed 1, that file is here, right? So this is what move is. The next option that we see is initiate restore. We'll see that later. Query s3 select, or we could rename our object. So we could rename this as, let's say, syntax html. Let's say I rename it as index1 html. There's no thing restricting us from doing that. So we could rename it. So we could edit the storage class. So if you see in the previous video, I would have explored about this storage class. So currently the default is standard. I could edit the storage class of this HTML file to something. So let me say, instead of this HTML file, let me this click.mp3, let me edit the storage class to let's say one zone infrequent access, and I save changes. So what happens is just click.mp3, now the storage class is one zone infrequent access. Okay, so that's the storage class. And edit server side encryption. We'll talk later about encryption, maybe we won't, but we know the we have a basic idea, we have a general idea about server side encryption, client side encryption. I would have specified it in my encryption video. So we could see that, and we could configure these settings. So also this applies to EFS, EBS, encryption applies to everywhere. So that's pretty much it here, right? That's pretty much it. You could edit tags, we know what a tag is, right? So, and then the next tab we have metadata. We know what is metadata. So actually this I should have explained with my user data. Okay, but I didn't explain it. So metadata is just a properties. So for EC2 instance we have metadata. um, we know how to fetch it by tokens stuff like that. What is metadata is the data for your data, means it has the properties of your object. So that's the metadata. We'll see later. We have to configure something. We can see create metadata configuration. We need to configure something. We'll see later. Yeah, properties, next tab. Okay, so this just says bucket over here. There's nothing to edit here except one. I'll edit it and we'll explore. So properties, bucket overview. We know in North Virginia, one availability zones. We know this is regional, so it will be replicated along in this region, right? In every availability zone, it will be recreated. ARN. What is ARN? Amazon resource name. So this is a unique ID within Amazon. This is there for every service. This is just to locate themselves. Have a unique ID for every data we store or the things we create and all. So creation date is specified, and here I want to talk about bucket versioning. So what is versioning? First of all, versioning is a means of keeping multiple variants. So if some data is lost, if you enable versioning, multiple variants are kept, right? It is used to preserve, retrieve, restore every version of every object. Suppose we wanted to modify the data but still have the not modified data too. We need to have the modified and not modified data, so we could use versioning. So versioning is generally used with GitHub, but for AWS we have bucket versioning in S3, right? um, so yeah, I'll see this. So when the versioning, bucket versioning is disabled, actually when you go here we have this files, right? Now when I enable from suspend, this is the default bucket versioning. When we had created a bucket, I could have edited this, but now I'm editing. So if I click enable and I enable bucket versioning, MFA will talk later, multi-factor authentication. This is similar to when we log in IAM user. Okay, we could give tags, but we'll focus on uh, versioning. So now there is a toggle that is here, show versions. So if I click that, it shows the version ID as null, because these files have been created before versioning is enabled, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'll upload a file. Let me see, I have a text file also. No, I don't have text file. Let me create a text file. This is a text file. Again, I'm doing this all to show the demo, right? So this I go ahead and upload it, right? So go ahead and upload it. I've uploaded my text file. Now what I do is that I delete it, right? I delete it. So why am I doing this, uploading and deleting? I just want to show is that versioning is kind of a recycle bin that keeps a version of itself. So if I go now to show versions, still that this is a text file will be there, but there will be a type called delete marker. So that thing, if you delete it again, okay, if you delete that, the text file will be back. As you can see, the text file is back now with a version ID. Since this file is created after versioning is enabled, it has a unique version ID, but these files don't. Okay, so I'm going to show you if versioning is enabled. If I create another text or just edit this, let me edit this. So this is a text file by Raeed. Right, now let me save this, and now if I upload this edited version, okay, I'm uploading this edited version. Now what happens is that when versioning is enabled, this is still a single text file only, but if we go to show versions, this is the old text file, this is a new text file. So could I very well see, maybe if I open this, this is a text file, right? But if I open this, so it retains a copy. That's what I want to make that. This is a text file by Raeed, right? So let me delete the old one, right? Let me delete the old one. So now I want to say is that when versioning is disabled, whatever the file is there, that's overwritten. So let me even show that too. Now I disable, I suspend it, acknowledge. Though AWS doesn't recommend this, we'll do that. Okay. So now what it is, this is a text file by Raeed. Now what I do is I edit this now, right? I'm editing it to this data. Now I upload it. Now we'll see what happens. Now I upload it. Now versioning is disabled. Keep that in mind, right? What happens? Got overwritten. The previous data is lost. It's gone since versioning is disabled. Since if you enable show versions also, so since it's a version file, I think it's keeping a standard, but yeah, that previous thing is gone. It got overwritten. Okay, so that's the point I want to make it. So we go ahead and delete this permanently. By the way, if you permanently delete with versioning enabled too, data is gone, right? So this is the points I want to explain regarding S3. Future will explore about permissions. Metrics is nothing, it's just a graph. Okay, there's nothing to show because my data is too small. So life cycle management, access points, right? So that's it I want to show about S3 and its properties. Thank you.